Hey everybody, Andy McNamara with you, head of football operations for UFF Sports. Very excited to chat with this gentleman, Aaron Beasley, college star, NFLer, record holder. I'm pumped to talk to you. Aaron, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Andy? Good to see you.
Oh,
Good to hear
doing
you.
good, doing good. Hey, thank you for joining us. Thanks for being on. And we were chatting before the interview started. And I was telling you, you're on Team Elite in the American Football Legends League, and you had a big interception. So how cool is that? You're out of retirement now, and you're picking off like Joe Montana, Bart Starr, all those guys.
Well, guys I always studied and looked up to. It's finally good to be out there on the field with them and make plays against them.
That's That's right. That's right. You're up. You're playing against the all-time greats. You're in there. Hey, and of course, you're one of the all-time great Jacksonville Jaguars. A few years ago, they had the top Jaguars of all time. You were right in the top 20 there. When you look now as a player, from a former player, either before you played, players now, is there anybody that you would think, hey, man, you know what? I would love to cover this receiver, or, ooh, I would like to test myself against this quarterback from any era? Does anybody stand out to you?
I mean, it's funny you say that because I actually played against guys,
Yeah.
Growing up, we always played football on Sundays before the games, and you always had a guy that was a quarterback, and I was always like a John Elway or a Dan Marino, and then shoot, my rookie year, I'm out there playing against John Elway, and it was like I always had my top five list. John Elway and Dan Marino are up there, so that dream scenario, intercepting Dan Marino and a Pennsylvania guy. I'm from Pennsylvania. He's from Western Pennsylvania. I'm from Eastern Pennsylvania, and they get more of the recognition for football. But the East Pennsylvania won that game.
That's right. You picked him off. That's right. And you're a finalist as well for the College Football Hall of Fame, so that'll be exciting. And when you look at from yourself now, again, we were chatting before the interview, and what you give back and teach, I thought it was fascinating you taking this through. I want you to take the viewers through this, the type of footwork and coaching you do, not just for youth, but for the pros all the way down. Tell us about that.
Well, I work every level, just because playing defensive back it takes so much skill. It's funny. I was talking to a coach the other day, and we're like talking about camps. And when you go to a football camp, you'll have out of 100 guys, you'll have 90 receivers and 10 D backs. Because everybody wants the glory. Because there's not as much glory playing defensive back. So I think a lot of guys shy away from it because it's embarrassing. You can get beat out there, and it's not fun. But I took pride in that. Like I really took pride in defense. Just like when I played basketball, like defense was my specialty. I didn't care about points. I wanted to shut the opponent down. And guys just have different mentalities. But I teach a lot of the basics. Because a lot of people do a lot of fancy footwork and do all these drills. Like everything I do, it correlates right to the position because I actually played. Like I don't go out there and try to say how to do things, and I haven't been there. Like I was on that field, and I've made plays in big games. So a lot of the stuff that I do, it actually comes from playing in the game, and I correlate it to my drills. So like we were talking earlier, I was saying playing defensive back is playing like every sport in every sport, every position in
Yeah.
every sport, because eventually, like in basketball, you got to get back and play defense. Soccer, you got to get back and play defense. Hockey, you think about all the sports like baseball. Balls hit, you got to react, and a lot of this stuff is footwork. Having quick twitch muscles and being able to change your hips and flip and get out of there. I teach a lot of like little things. I stand on balance balls and throw balls at them and make them catch from different angles because, you know, like football and most sports are all spontaneous. So, we don't practice some of the spontaneous things. So like what I do is I add the basic formula, and then I add some like weird drills that make you feel uncomfortable, because you got to be uncomfortable sometimes, because that's going to happen. And if you've done it and felt that, then you won't panic.
Right. So, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people don't understand how much goes into this. And it's not just you watch on TV and a defensive back, he backpedals. Well, there's so much more into that, right? It's core balance. It's those quick twitch muscles, like you said, ankles and the hips. Like in the NFL combines coming, we're going to hear a lot about loose hips, keeping loose, that type of thing. There's a lot that goes into this.
Yeah, I mean, because you think about, like, there's a lot of guys that can run a 4.2 or 4.3 40, but if they're not good in their hips and they can't flip and run, they can lose steps, because especially defensive back, we're playing and we're all reactionary. So everything we do, we're based off of a receiver, what he does. So being able to backpedal and not take false steps, where that if I got a guy that runs a 4.3 and he's running, if I take 2 false steps, he's running by me. I have to be able to flip my hips. And a lot of things, it's funny, I can have it down to a science, just because I ran a 4.6 and I'm out there sticking to Galloway, who I'm like, man, I heard he ran a 4.1. I'm like, if I miss, it's done. I'm out there. It's funny. I'm from Pennsylvania, so Rocket Ismail's from Pennsylvania. So my freshman year in high school, Rocket Ismail's out there running a 10.6. Well, I'm probably running like 11.7, 11.8. And, I played against Rocket, and I end up playing against Rocket in the NFL. And I'm like, man, I can't let him get his speed going.
No.
So, and so a lot of that has to do with playing a perfect technique every play. So, I teach my guys, like, especially even in our drills, when you're tired, it doesn't matter. You always got to rely on the same technique. You got to be consistent. And every time you got to rely on what you have done through all this training every time.
Amazing. And Aaron, how has the game changed? Because we hear all the time how, if you breathe on a quarterback, you get a penalty. If you look at a wide receiver too much, you get called for pass interference, whatever. How is it? How much more difficult, let me say, is it for a defensive back today than even back from when you played, and certainly decades before that?
Well, especially the physicality, I think the physical part actually helps the mental part for receivers, because it used to be a no-fly zone when you throw that ball in the middle. And I played against and with some heavy hitters, and when you come across that middle, it becomes intimidating. Where now, guys can actually concentrate on that ball and not worrying about the big hits anymore. Where, that takes the mental part out of it, because now they don't have to worry about it. But, the quarterbacks, they get away with a lot. I feel sorry for the running quarterbacks, though, because they still don't call it for them.
Nope, they still get it.
Some of Justin Fields' hits this year, I'm like, man, maybe he got to wait to get some respect or something. But it's they definitely are a lot tighter. But at the same time, I don't feel like they're tight on the receivers, because now you got these guys who are bigger than the DBs, and they're using their physical gifts and their physical stature to outmuscle a lot of guys. The average size of a D-back is like 5'10", 5'11". I mean, you think you're going against how many 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" receivers now? You think about that, So, and then, like, I think receivers get away with a lot because of that. People don't realize how one little push could mean 4 or 5 steps. And when you got quarterbacks who their accuracy is so pinpoint nowadays, and where they throw these balls, there is a big advantage on offense.
And which makes learning that footwork, learning that technique from people like you is so important. Aaron, I want the viewers to get to know you a little bit as well. So before we let you go, Tell us what you're streaming on Netflix right now, because you're saying, hey, you know what? Nobody watches previews like Aaron Beasley.
Oh man, I'm the preview champ. I've never watched the series, but I watch his preview. But I got into what's the one I'm watching now?
Blacklist?
Villander. The Blacklist is one of them. Raymond Reddington is the coolest criminal ever.
Yeah, that guy gets it.
I like the crime shows. You know, some of the documentaries. I like that the Kevin Hart series. That was pretty cool. True story.
Oh,
That seemed like that could be his life almost, you know. And you know, that's a scary one. Like some of the ones that are scary are the ones that are so realistic. I'm so much into like spy stuff and crime. Like First 48, I still watch. I'll still go back, and I've seen every one of them. I'll still go back and watch that.
those are great.
But oh man, sports and crime shows and mysteries, that's me. Like I've never watched a horror film. I'm never going to watch one. That's just I'd rather have a good dream, you know. Most of the time I don't have a dream, so when I want a good dream. I don't need Freddie in my dreams. I don't need none of them in my dreams. Like
No.
I live one of them lives where I wake up and I'm happy.
Right.
So I don't want to be worried in my sleep and then wake up unhappy.
Right, and someone's gonna get you. Exactly. Listen,
Aaron, I don't want to be chased. I don't need to be chased in my dreams. You know what I mean?
Listen, I want to have you on again at the later on this season, because we have a whole bunch more to talk, even just about movies and all that and sports. So, listen, tell people where they can find you on social media, the coach and stuff. They want to be in touch or find out about you. Where can they find Aaron Beasley?
Well, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I really don't even know my call names or none of that, but I think it's Beasley7. Yeah, it's Beasley737 at Instagram. I don't know all that. I'm like old school. I sit here and I play my Xbox and I go train my guys and I'm good. I'm happy with life and family's good and every's happy.
That's awesome, Aaron. Listen, we will do this again later in the season.
I go by like the Bruce Lee philosophy in life. You know, every day I just flow like water.
Oh, I like that. That's a shirt. So I think we got to put that on a shirt. We'll put that at the UFF Sports Shop. We'll put that up there for you. Aaron, good luck. Keep getting interested.
Look at me. I'm even representing one of my boys' football camps. That's my boy.
Oh, there you go.
Fielder, man. I didn't even know I had this on, but Jay, he does a great thing every summer. And I go up to somewhere in New York, and Jay has this big camp, and we do it, man. It's fun.
That's
for
all.
like
You know
kids that never get to see and experience. You know, we got pro guys coming to up there in upstate New York. These guys never seen NFL guys, and we get up there every year and work them out, man. It's fun.
That's very cool. Well, you know what? We'll do it again soon. In the meantime, keep catching some interceptions for Team Elite in the American Football Legends League. We'll talk to you soon.
I'm about to go on the hot streak coming up.
There you go. There he is, the great Aaron Beasley.